So today I want to go over how I'm building wealth stress-free as I enjoy my money as a financial freedom self-planner. There are four things that I want to go over with you, represented by these four wonderful pictures I spent way too long drawing here. But I think before that, I want to make you a promise. And my promise to you is this. I want you to imagine waking up knowing your finances are fully automated and on track. And because of that, you can focus on what really matters. I don't know about you, but for me, it's my family, it's my passions. And so if you give me some time, I want to show you how you can do the same. But before I do that, I think it's important for you to learn a little bit about who I am. And I think I want to split it into three phases, which will help you understand kind of the path that I walked. And the first phase is from 2014 to 2017. This was when I was fresh out of college and I just started my job. Now, what was characteristic of this phase was I spent more than I saved, and I spent more than I invested. Now, another thing was I didn't know what was enough. How much money did I need? I also didn't know how investments worked. So I didn't know any of these things. And I remember just getting my paycheck from my job and just going out and blowing it on fine dining. I would swipe my credit card regularly. I saved inconsistently. And I think overall, this phase of my life was characterized by a lack of knowledge, a lack of money goals. 2017, I went through the second phase of my life. So this was 2017 to 2020. And the thing that happened that caused me to change was learning about FIRE and moving abroad. So FIRE is financial independence, retire early. To give you kind of the 30-second spiel, it's basically save as much money as possible so you can retire as early as possible. And what moving abroad did was it allowed me to do that. I saved probably at that point an 80% savings rate. And I wasn't even trying. But life wasn't very enjoyable. I had no social life, or very limited social life. While everyone went on vacation, I was afraid of spending money, and I was often like the guy that was left out. So I was trying to retire early. That was a goal, but I didn't know when I would get there. And so what feeling did that create? Desperation, right? So I was saving 80%. I didn't know when I would retire. My life sucked. And so I felt desperate. What did that desperation lead me to do? Well, I lost money. Why? Because I bought scam, get rich quick courses. And not only that, I thought I could beat the market. I thought I could invest my way to freedom. And just these two things lost me tens of thousands of dollars. And so this phase, did I have financial knowledge? Yes. So I had knowledge, but this phase was characterized by not knowing which way to follow. Do I buy stocks? Do I buy real estate? Do I trade on margin and try day trading? Do I buy derivatives, options? How do I get rich? Do I start an online business? Do I learn phone sales? What in the world do I do? And so I tried a bunch of stuff and I trusted the wrong people in a sense. Now, and then in 2021, what happened? I met my wife, my now wife. And so 2021 to now, there was a profound change. I did not want my family to live the life that I lived. I did not want us to spend irresponsibly. I also did not want us to live a very deprived lifestyle. I didn't want us to lose a bunch of money that we now need because we're starting a family. And so I decided to get serious about financial planning. I got serious about automations, so automating cash flow. I also got serious on investing. And since 2021, I've had massive changes in my life. I closed my first property, my first rental. I am making over 100K plus for the first time, and I became a dad. I thought for the longest time, I thought starting a family would move me further away from my financial freedom goals, but I've never been closer, and that's the reality. In this phase of my life, I know exactly how much I need to save every single month, what to invest in, and how much money I will have by what time. And so this phase of my life is characterized by financial confidence. There's no more desperation. That is gone. The happiest thing I think about this phase of my life is I get to spend my money stress free and guilt free, and I get to bless my family while knowing that I'm on track financially. And so I want to talk a little bit about who would be good for this system and who would not be good for this system. Let's start with who wouldn't be good, right? Who wouldn't this work for? So the first group that this wouldn't work for are what I call speculators. And so if your aspiration is to be a day trader, right? Even if you're like, oh, I just want to make a little bit of money as a day trader, or like derivatives, if you buy derivatives, and if you buy Forex options, even individual stocks, I did some of this stuff. And this was because I wanted to get rich quick. This just isn't the system that I'm building, that I'm following, because I know I have bias. And so I want to protect my wealth against my own bias. So if you're a speculator, or if you want to become the best trader in the world, I'm sorry, this is not going to work for you. The second group of people that this wouldn't work for are what I call lean fire pursuers. And so if you want to live as frugally as possible to the point of deprivation, like how I did in the second phase of my life, so you can retire as early as possible and be free in quotes, because technically you're only free to live frugally because you're living on as little as possible in a sense. If that's the kind of life you want to lead, I can't help you. It's just fundamentally I disagree with this kind of life. If we spend most of our lives living frugally and in deprivation, chasing after a number so that we can just not work and continue to live in deprivation, that does not sound like the life I want to live. I want to live a life where I know I'm on track to retire in a reasonable time period. I know I am saving enough money and investing enough money, paying off my debt in a logical, reasonable way. And whatever money I have left, I can enjoy that. If I really, really like fine dining, I can go out and spend $200 on sushi. That's the kind of life that I want to lead. And so who I can help. So if you're making as a household 100K plus a year, there's no reason why a more automated, minimalistic, simplistic system wouldn't work for you. If you're looking to automate and optimize and learn so that you can fire your financial advisor, this is for you. That's why the program is called Financial Freedom Self-Planner. And so some of the problems you might be dealing with right now might include you're living paycheck to paycheck despite making good money. Seriously, you're not supposed to be broke, but you're feeling like you're broke. Or you don't know how to prioritize your savings, your debt, your investing. Or you lack the financial knowledge to implement a reliable investment plan. Or maybe you're just not on the same page with your spouse on money, and that's obviously a headache. Or maybe you just want a simple, automated life to live and spend your money stress-free and guilt-free. And so let's go over the model. How did I actually build out my finances? So the first pillar is what I call a united philosophy. And once I sat down and figured this out with my wife, we literally never argued about money again. But I distinctly remember a time before that when I told her about my grand plan for saving 80% of our income. And I kind of literally thank God because she helped me realize that it was not a life worth living. It wasn't until we sat down and talked about our money beliefs, came to an agreement that we could move forward and build our win-win financial life. So with you, we're going to sit down and get you to reflect with your partner on financial pillars and money beliefs that the wealthy swear by. And no, you don't need to agree on everything, but I've seen couples that literally never talk about their money with each other. And guess what? When I ask about their retirement plan, they have none. Money issues literally account for 20% to 40% of all divorces, and half of all couples that are surveyed say they argue about money. So it's just solving that and getting the relationship on the right track is super important and has brought me and my wife so much closer together. So in the words of Tony Robbins, he says success is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. And this is coming from a guy who went from being in a broken family to running one of the most successful businesses in the world. So if we want to build wealth, we first have to become the person that can. The second pillar is what I'm going to call cash flow clarity. And so what cash flow clarity is, it's the solution to your financial stress. And it's what's going to allow you to spend guilt-free. This is about knowing exactly how your money is coming in and where it's going. And for most people, this is overwhelming. But I want to teach you about the only numbers you need to understand, and then you can ignore the rest. And this is important because it gives balance between the two extremes, right? The first one being you have money anxiety and you're trying to save every penny you get. The other side being you have money anxiety because you just always seem to run out. Somewhere in that middle is the golden mean, and we're going to help you figure that out by creating your own personal financial statements. Now, the good news is we only need to create this once, and then you're literally set for life. And I get it, and sometimes we're scared to bring our finances into the light, but the alternative is just confusion and stress. And trust me when I say that there's nothing better than being able to see yourself become wealthier over the years. And just a few years ago, I wouldn't even order drinks when I went out with my friends. On the surface, I would say stuff like, I don't drink, or one time I even told everyone I was allergic, and that didn't work out that well. Deep down, though, I knew it was because I believed I couldn't afford it, that it would be a waste of money, and I would regret it. And fast forward to today, because I have cash flow clarity, I can go out and I can drop $200 on sushi because I know I can afford it. There's no guilty pleasure. There's just pleasure. And it's what I want for you to actually enjoy the money you work so hard to make. That's cash flow clarity. The third pillar is lifetime wealth thesis. This is about how you can reduce debt and invest in the most tax advantaged way. This is the exact plan that I am following that will help me retire financially independent. If you're unclear on your money priorities and that's causing you headaches, then this will fix it. This is literally the difference between making bad investments, taking bad advice, versus just following a simple plan that works and will help you formulate a wealth building plan you can use for your whole life. We'll go over the different life transitions you might face, like kids and aging parents that might affect you financially, and how to prepare for them. And most people find this investing thing overwhelming, and because of that, they never start. But the result is that their money is just losing value to inflation. And investing doesn't actually have to be complicated. And so we'll help you form the simplest investment thesis you will probably ever see, but one that works wonders. I've probably lost $50,000 in my first and second phase just buying different stocks and pretending I can be at Wall Street. But the reality is that if I just stuck to a simple investment plan, I would have actually beaten most of Wall Street. And since following that plan, not only am I building wealth, but I have peace. It's a full peace of mind. And I'm not checking the markets every day. I actually get to live my life instead. My relationships are all the better for it. The final and perhaps the most valuable pillar is the big four automation. And so the big four is saving, debt reduction, spending, and investing. We're going to help you automate as much of it as possible so you're not spending time managing your money. So you don't get emotional when you make money decisions because you're not making them. They're automated. You set up your accounts in such a way that make it difficult for you to make poor money decisions, and you're building wealth on autopilot, which is what I'm doing right now. Most people don't manage their money well because, well, one, it feels like work. But if you set this up properly, you'll minimize the amount of time you spend managing your money. This will literally help you wake up one day, all of a sudden, and you'll just be financially free. And keep you financially confident until you get there. You really only have to do the fun stuff, which is decide on how you want to spend some of your money. Everything else is automated. How we do this is by setting up automated transfers to meet the big four, as well as setting up specific accounts for different purposes. A study done by JP Morgan once showed that even though the market returns 8%, an average individual investor's return is just 2%. And the reason is because we are prone to making money decisions that are horrible. That's why I decided to automate as much as possible. And since doing so, I've been able to see my net worth go up year over year. I no longer need a financial planner to manage my money. And so I'm saving tens of thousands of dollars in fees over time. I'm just now focused solely on building the life I want to live and giving my family the life I believe they deserve. And so if you're interested at all in this process, DM at King Educates. DM me the word freedom so I know we're on the same page, and then we'll talk from there, right? There's no pressure at all. We're just going to have a conversation about how you can implement the complete blueprint to becoming a financial freedom self-planner. See you there.